As you watch Esther's lesson on medieval castles, consider the two sides of the teaching and learning coin. The most important side is the progress the students make in their learning. Look for things like their engagement and attitude, their interest in the topic and how they seem to feel. On the other side of the coin, think about what the teacher is doing to get this impact.
Okay, Year 7. Now, just to sort of reconnect you with what you're doing at the moment and the inquiry you're doing, we've been studying this question: what can we learn from computer games about medieval history? Okay, and remember, medieval means the year 1000 to around the year 1400, and warfare means fighting. So can anyone remind me of the things that we've studied so far? What topics have we studied to help us decide if computer games are really useful for learning about history? Rakia?
Armour.
Armour, good. And Rajveer?
Weapons.
Weapons, excellent. Okay, so today we're actually going to investigate the final little piece of the puzzle, and that is castles. What can we learn from computer games about castles? Now, what I'd like you to do is think really carefully. When I saw you on Parents' Evening and when you got your progress checks, if you know that you're on a level 5 at the moment, okay, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to say to me how castles changed over time and why they changed over time. And you should be able to say to me, does that mean does the computer game show this? How useful is this computer game? All right? If you're aiming towards a level 4 to a 5, you should be able to do the same things, but you're going to be able to, instead, you're just going to explain to me whether this computer game is useful or not. You may not talk about the motive of the people who made the game, okay? So, without further ado, let's look at the real history of castles. In front of you, you've got a little whiteboard. And in your pairs, you are going to become master castle builders, okay? I'm going to tell you some information from the Kings of England, because you have now all been hired by the Kings of England to build castles for them. First set of instructions, the year is 1066. William the Conqueror has just won the Battle of Hastings to become King of England. But in many parts of England, the people don't want him there, and they are fighting against him. William and his soldiers must be protected, and the English people must be shown who is boss, so he decides to build a castle. But he says it must be built really quickly, and he's only got wood and earth or soil to do it, okay? So it's really important that it's high up so that he can see danger approaching, and he needs an area for the soldiers to live. Can you, in your pairs, think of a castle you could design made of wood, earth and high up? All right, you've got 1.5 minutes. Use the little pen I've given you to draw on your whiteboard.
It'd be like that. And then you do the door. Draw a picture.
You've got 1 minute, guys. Make sure you've got all of the things from the brief.
What's the lines?
Stop drawing. Okay, so how did you get on, castle builders? Akram? How did you get on? Do we think we've matched the brief? Do you think William's going to be happy?
Yeah.
Okay, could you hold your boards up so I can see your designs, please? Ooh. Now, this one at the back. Can you all look at that one for a second? Well done, Salma and Rakia. Can you see how they've really done exactly what William said? It's on a hill, it's made of wood, and it's high up. And where would your soldiers live?
Inside.
Inside. Good. Okay, now if you look this way, okay, here is the castle that people ended up building in 1066. You guys did this really well. Look, you all put your castle on a nice big hill of earth and made it of wood. Well done. But times are changing, builders. Things are going to get a little bit more tricky for you. It's now 1081, so 20 years later roughly. Clean your boards, you're going to build a new castle. So, are we ready? Here is your brief, castle builders. The castles William had built for him by you have got big problems, so you could be in a lot of trouble. The wood has begun to rot in the heavy rain, and wood catches fire really easily, so all those people are attacking you with their flaming arrows. Your castles are being burnt to the ground, and as a result, you need more soldiers, all right? You need bigger buildings for your soldiers. There's not enough room in that old design. So he still needs to keep control. He needs to have a different type of castle, and he's got a new thing you can use, stone. You've got 1.5 minutes. Design your new castles. Look at the words in bold. They will help you. Right, because that one's got a wall, hasn't it? Which we haven't been asked to. This one, so you can build this.
And I do the rocks around it.
1 minute left, guys.
It's kind of like wooden things that when you push back, you can fire an arrow. Like the wooden thing opens.
But made of stone.
How do you do that? Like that thing, and then you'll open it.
That's what I was talking about.
Can you just do me a favour? Write the date on that picture you've just drawn. The date is 1081. Akram, can you tell me, looking at that castle you guys have drawn, what's changed from 1066?
It looks different because of the stone. It's a different shape to the wood.
OK, good. What else has changed? Because it's made of stone, what else does that mean has changed, people?
The stone, like, it won't be able to break, and it's much heavier than the wood,
Good, well done.
so it won't get burnt.
Well done, and that's a key thing, isn't it? He didn't want them to be burnt down. So, you can see that castles are changing, OK? The design is changing. Next one, rub out your designs. Next step. And please write the date at the top. It's 1126 now. So it's almost 60 years since William has invaded. Some English people, dun, 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 have worked out that they can make your stone castle collapse. Oh dear. You are going to seriously lose your jobs if you're not careful, guys. They are digging holes under the stone walls. And if they dig under it, the stone collapses into the hole. Your castles are about to just be ruined. So, you need to add extra defences. Stone is available, money is available. 1.5 minutes, or I think you're going to get your heads chopped off by the king who's unhappy.
You put, so we have stone here. You put 2 bricks with like heavy ones. So you add more.
1 minute left, guys. Harvey, not swinging on you. Good man.
How about we put in space to put in our weapons, like catapults or trebuchets, and arrows. Let's put in some space. We have to put in some tiles for the soldiers as well.
And so that's for the soldiers, so they stay in there, and then they will shoot from the other side.
Yeah.
And the king will stay on this one. So he won't get hurt, he gets extra.
Maybe a second one. Put your hand up if in your team you decided to keep the same rough design, but you added something like a wall or a moat, like some water. Dearie me, you're pretty good. Maybe you won't get your heads chopped off. Well done. I've got to move you on. One more date, people. The new date, 1272. Let's work quickly. Rub. You've been doing quite well, but there's now an even bigger problem. Even if you've built a wall around your castle, the English people have worked out is that if hundreds of people surround your castle and just wait, you're going to die because you will starve. You're going to have no food. You won't have anything coming in or out, will you? So ultimately, you've got to change your castle design. 3 crucial things. Don't let the soldiers be trapped in one place. have lots of little castles within one, walls and round walls. Go for it, people. You've got 1.5 minutes. Yes.
If it's a round, like it's the same as a normal wall, except for you can still get under.
Yeah, but it's because it's round. Yeah, if the wall is like this, if you try and dig under this bit of wall here, yeah, put your finger there, right? If you try and dig under that, only that bit of wall is going to collapse. These bits are still standing. If it's a straight wall and you dig under it, all of that is going to collapse. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, castle builders, pens down, your time is up. Now, did your castle look something like this? Did you have more than one place for the soldiers to live? Put your hands up if you had more than one place for soldiers to live. Super duper. Put your hand up if you added some walls to your castle. Oh, not bad, not bad. Good. Put your hands up if your walls were round. Maybe you're okay. I think I'm going to let you pass the test. But before you can pass the test, here's a quick true or false. Thumbs up if it's true, thumbs down if it's false. Number 1, all castles in history are made of wood. False, super duper. Wooden castles had to be replaced by stone. True, well done. Castle designs were invented bit by bit. They changed over time. Excellent, well done. That's a difficult one. But here is the real challenge. Do the computer games make us think the right thing about these castles? You've seen castles, okay? You've seen a little bit about how they change, but do computer games make us think the right thing? I've got some pictures to show you, all right? I'm going to whiz through them. Look carefully. Number 1, this, according to the computer game, is how castles looked. It says that there are at least 2 protective walls, and there is a rounded tower, and there are square towers. Finally, looking this way, guys, it says everything's on a hill, that they're rounded and they're square. The computer games we've looked at were set, that means the date that they were set in was 1191. Were round towers invented then? No. Were multiple walls around the castles invented then? No, they were invented in 1272, later than the game. These computer games you've worked out are not necessarily teaching you the real history. And you're going to explain this by writing some sentences which will ultimately help you in your final assessment, okay? So it says, I know, in 1191, I know that real castles looked like this. So look on the back. That's how real castles looked, isn't it? That's what you drew. So you would say they had a square tower and stone walls. Yeah? And then compare that. What did you see in the computer games? I'll put the computer games pictures back up so you can use them to describe. You all right here, guys? You understand what you're going to do? Yeah? So, what have they got right? What have the computer games got right?
They got right that there was castles.
Fantastic. Write that down. Oh, you've done that right. That's what it's ended onto. Castles square and we're not rounded. That's right. What could you do if you wanted to test if this game was a good game and accurate? What would you do? Remember when we looked at how to be a really good historian? We said we ask questions, then we look at the sources and investigate, and then we cross-reference, we compare sources. That's it, yeah? So that's what a really good historian would do, all right? So get an explanation down. Well done. Right, everybody. Your final challenge. Just before we go, you've begun to explain on those answers that computer games are a little bit useful, but maybe a little bit wrong as well. Okay, that's ultimately what you're telling me in your answers from what I see. Can anyone move the class on and help us think why? Why do computer games maybe get things wrong? Are we being fair judging a computer game as a historical source? Are we being fair? No, why not, Sanjay?
Because
some people don't want to learn about history, they just want to play the game for fun.
Yes, spot on. We can learn history from so many different sources, it's still right there, like games, films, the internet, books, and each source is going to give us a slightly different view. And if you're going to be super historians, you need to compare them. Now, this gentleman here reached that conclusion, didn't you? You said we should always compare sources to see if they're right or not. Okay, so remember that when you leave today. Good historians compare. They compare sources.